Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legend video. Guys, I wanted to do a quick update because it's so relevant to the video I just dropped this morning about how much time you spend in Raid. I had no idea this was coming, but Murder Inc.'s had a collaboration video with two of the community managers at Raid, Cirilla and Banana Jam. I'm going to unpack the key points and give my take on it. But you can feel free to go and check out his channel and watch it in full. It's like over an hour long, so there's a lot more detail than what I'm going to talk about today. But these, for me, were the important topics, the ones which were pulled out, which I feel like we absolutely need to talk about. So, first one up is content that's dropping in the remainder of this year. Look at these juicy packs coming up. Content dropping this year. The big things that they want to implement before the end of 2021. We've only got 4 months. So it's actually a really short window. And I know that if we go back 6 months or so, they were talking about a Hydra boss coming and a whole bunch of other things actually within the year. They've held pretty good to their roadmap. But the ones they've called out are new Doom Tower bosses. We know they're coming next week. Okay, so it's going to be the 6th. And it feels like that's probably going to be the end of the Doom Tower boss growth for now, at least, because they've already got to their rotation 3. And that's what they said they were going to do. So the 2 new Doom Tower bosses, a lot of people don't feel like Doom Tower bosses is new content. It actually is. That was one of the good things I think about Doom Tower, was that they could constantly evolve the content that they made. The question is whether people are properly up for doing it, actually. I quite enjoy it, but not everyone does. So Doom Tower bosses was the first one they called out. They talked about the dupe system again, and they've talked about it dropping within this year, but they still are so vague on what it's actually going to be. It's not ready. It's still not ready. And they're still not certain on what they're going to do with it. So, I mean, we've been having this conversation for a long, long time, and it's like, now you need to deliver on something. We can't keep going, like, either you've got a solution or you haven't. Loads of things have been kind of discussed over time. It's really getting to the point where people are asking me, don't do any viewer shards until a new dupe system's out there. It's like, honestly, guys, I mean, if that's going to make any difference, it literally wouldn't make a speck of difference in terms of how fast they do this thing, okay? And I only do viewer shards once every fortnight anyway, but that's by the by, really. But it does need to be done, especially for people. I mean, it's more important for actually people that are newer to mid-game players that have just been unlucky and pulled a couple of dupes. Like, for my account, it really wouldn't make much of a difference. But for someone who is maybe has only got 3 or 4 legendaries and then 2 of them are dupes, it's like, that is a real kick in the nuts. So it's got to come. We need to know what it is. And, you know, pretty much every time someone does an interview, you get the same vague answer. I did one with Cirilla, Ash has done one, Chosen's done one, and we're spanning the whole year. The answer's the same. It's not good enough. So come on, pull your finger out. You've now given yourself a deadline to the end of the year. Don't extend it any further, PLARIUM. Give us the nuts and bolts of what's going on. They talked about champion rebalancing, and they said there's going to be more champion rebalancing within this year. That's good. I've done a number of videos around which champions I feel like should be in the mix. They also talk about the fact that they're going to do rebalancing more frequently. And that's something which I think that we need. You know, this with over 600, I think, champions now. Over 600. It's a ton of champions. And honestly, you know, when you start to look through these champion pools, me and Ash did a video not long ago, and I was looking at like the epics in Sacred Order thinking, there are a ton here, and probably at least half of these epics could do with a rework just in this faction, because they're just old school and pretty irrelevant for today's game. They just get outclassed so quickly now, some of these older champions. And I especially feel like, I know they're going to focus on legendaries, but I hope they focus a ton on epics as well, because epics make the game function. You can't book out all the legendaries and that. Epics are what make the game work. So I hope they focus on epics. They talked about Battle Pass coming back. They still don't have the details of it. So again, it's a pretty vague statement, but they say it's going to be coming within this year. And that's pretty much where they end around content for this year. They don't specifically talk about Hydra boss, but they keep talking about this thing that we know is coming. I'm hoping that is the Hydra boss, by the way. I actually don't know what it is, but I'm hoping it is the Hydra boss. Otherwise, they don't talk about that at all. So yeah, let's hope, fingers crossed, that the Hydra boss is still in the plans for 2021. They then go on and talk about what's their focus going to be for 2022. And it looks like they're going to have a big shift towards PvP content. Now, I mean, I hope, like, I don't mind that, by the way. I don't mind a shift towards PvP, because when you get to a true end game, really, of any game, PvP tends to be the focus. You tend to kind of switch either to, like a real raiding style guild in a game, or a PvP focused player or group within a game. Currently, the Platinum reset is not PvP friendly for most of the population. Yeah, the reset time is so specific. If you're in Europe, you're probably on your way to work. If you're in America, you're probably in bed. And it's a real difficult thing to say, you know what, for a 15-minute window, we need your attention. That's when you're going to play PvP. For the rest of the week, you can get your auto battles in, blah, blah, blah. Super boring, actually. They need a way more dynamic PvP system to have any sort of value in what they're trying to do, honestly. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the plans are for that, because actually PvP is a fun environment if you can get it right. But at the moment, when you're fighting really a bot team, so there's no live battles going on here, there's no live decision making from the other team, it's not really, it's not really set up for PvP to be the focal point of this game. That's not the way the game's built right now. So there would have to be a massive change in the PvP mode that comes out for that to be the right thing to do. But I'm secretly excited about it, but again, no detail around what that's going to look like. Now, the stuff that's really relevant to my video earlier, they talk for a long time about daily login rewards, and they give, honestly, the most ridiculous answer as to why this chicken has become favourable over a 5-star chicken and a sacred. And honestly, it's just they basically talk about bot abuse being the main reason. Bot abuse is the main reason that they've taken away that sacred shard. I just cannot believe that's true. I cannot believe that has really got anything to do with it. I mean, is that likely to be true? Can that really be the main reason that they wouldn't want to keep a sacred shard going on a 270 plus login reward thing? It just feels like such a ropey and honestly irrelevant idea, because does that mean that there won't be bots trying to create these fake accounts to sell on now? Of course not. It's not going to make any difference. So if the community are overwhelmingly against something and there's not really a good reason to do it, why do it? Why put yourself under that pressure? I mean, you could see in the way they answered the question, they were under a lot of pressure around this answer because they know the community is mad about it. I don't know why they're so stubborn about these things. They dig their feet in, and it's like, just listen to what people are saying. It's a stupid one to change. Change it back, you'll get all the applause, and then you move on. And it's like, Raid have listened for a change. So I feel like it's such a weak answer. So onto the time thing. Murder Inc. asked a question around, is it going to be instant battles in any way? And they kind of come back in a vague answer, but they say there could be. There won't be on somewhere like Clan Boss, but there could be somewhere else. He then sort of stresses the point again. And the main thing that comes back in terms of a real answer is that you'll be able to input double the energy into like a dungeon run and get twice the reward. It's actually a start. It's a start, but I mean, if anyone's watched my video already today, I run through a list, and actually Murder kind of talks around a similar point to me around Doom Tower and Faction Wars from my video, and yeah, their answer to that is basically nothing at all. So they say there will be some other factors which are going to enhance time. And they have a little talk about the tavern and how that will get a rework. So that's good. But yeah, there's definitely more that needs to be done. There's definitely more that needs to be done from that answer. But again, check out his video. You can watch it in full. And there's a kind of lengthy, vague answer, really, which doesn't go anywhere. Which is a concern, because I was hoping that those type of things would just be like, we've got it in the works. We have listened to that, because that's been loud and clear from all ends of the game. That's something they have to fix. The time in the game is not acceptable right now for the average human being, let alone gamer. Okay, this one blew my mind. This is like a, what are you talking about? Will there be a way to farm books, was the question. I mean, we were hoping that this little bad boy over here, the Sky Peak, was going to be the answer. They pretty categorically say there will be no way to farm books. The answer to it was there'll be more events and stuff like that. And you know what it's like. I mean, legendary books in events are always the top reward, and they're always a ton of energy or a ton of work. that can't be the right answer. When you're releasing champions with 14 odd book requirement each time, the answer cannot be, but you've got to burn a load more to get it. I mean, it needs to be a farmable resource now. It's got to be a farmable resource. It's getting to the point where, what's the point in getting a legendary champion? Because there's just no way to get books. So the answer really is it's just not good enough. And the last one, which I'll touch on, and there was a bunch more, they felt less relevant to me, so I won't kind of steal all the thunder. But the last one they talked about really is clan quests. So this is a cool feat. This is a cool change. And they have actually listened to our kind of discussion here. From the next patch, it sounded like, or at least a release that's coming soon, there will be 90 quests available. Hallelujah. There'll be 90 quests available for all clans coming soon. It sounds like what they're going to do is open up 30, 30, 30 in each of the sections. And the clan level have no relevance to this. My personal opinion is that's not the right idea. I'd actually say a level 1 clan maybe has, I don't know, 80 basic, 10 expert, level 2, and then it switches. And you start to be able to unlock some of the higher return points as you become a bigger clan, is what I would do with it. Because, I mean, honestly, the elite clan stuff, the early level people just won't be able to do most of it, if any of it. So I feel like that's not the right answer, but it's definitely better than what we got right now. Definitely means that every single clan member will be able to take 3 quests, which is huge. And they also talked about there being more reward for doing the quests, and also a bit of a change up to the clan shop. So this area here, specifically, I think, where they've got the affinity potions, they're going to change up with something else. But that sounds like all. I mean, we'll see. We'll see if they do a bit more with the shop, because they're looking at it at least. But there you go. I mean, it feels like for an over an hour long video, there's a lot of vague answers in there. I hope the areas where they've kind of touched on points, I hope they actually go, properly go after them, because there could be so much more with this game. And they could just keep, with small tweaks, they could actually make big movements for people playing this game. But anyway, look, as I say, the full video is going to be on Murder Inc.'s channel. Go and check it out. But that's my view. I've been Hell Hades. I will see you later.